All right, once we practice those drawing tools, this is where it really gets fun. Time to draw a character. So let's get drawing now. I'm going to give myself a little bit more space to draw by clicking and dragging on this dark line between the viewer and the level palette. If I drag that down, I can make my viewer a little bit larger, and I got a bit more space to draw. I'm going to draw a cartoon chicken naturally, so I'll hit B for the brush tool, and I'm going to start with a simple egg-like shape. So we'll do that. Then I'm going to give the chicken a little beak. It'll be like a little sideways D shape here. And then let's do some kind of Kirby-like line eyes here. And let's give the chicken a comb now. So up top, we'll do a little of this. And there we go. It is beautiful. There is our first drawing. To make another drawing, so we can actually animate between two different poses or expressions here, over in the X sheet, note we've got a little X underneath our first frame here with the first drawing from our level. If we click on that X, we can navigate to frame 2 of the animation, currently blank, and if we draw on that, we'll do that egg shape again. Notice we've got a new frame here in the animation, we've got a new drawing here in the level. So the animation begins now. For this one, I'm going to switch it up just a little bit. I will do the beak again. This time for the eyes, I'm going to go half hooded and looking over in this direction. And then we've got to have that comb again. All right, if we want to compare how these two frames fit together, we can either click between them in the X sheet. So first frame, second frame, first frame, second frame, or we can use the less than, greater than keys on the keyboard, technically comma or period. Ah, what fun. Okay, we've got our pose 1 and our pose 2. Let's add an in-between here. So I'm going to want to move what's currently on frame 2 down to frame 3 in the animation, and then I'll do a new drawing on frame 2. Note, if you just click and drag on this block for frame 2, it's not actually going to move the thing like we want it to. We'll need to click on this slightly lightened tab over on the left side of that cell's block. If we click and drag on that, we should get a highlight around the block, and then we can pop it down to the next frame. Be aware, sometimes that can be a little bit finicky. Even if it seems like your cursor is right up on that thing, you might not get that highlight around the block. That won't move it. You need to see the highlight around the frame you've got selected in order to move it to a different frame. Okay, once we've done that, we've got an X here between the two frames, so we can do one more drawing as an in-between position. What I'm going to do here is squash the character down a little bit and have the eyes squint as kind of a transition from one pose to the next. So we'll do that same egg shape, but a little bit more flat. That came out kind of wonky, so I'm going to do Control-Z to undo. Yeah, that's better. And again, we'll do the beak. And again, we'll do the comb. This time for the eyes, we'll do a little bit squinty. Adorable. All right, so we got pose 1, pose 2, pose 3. Boop, 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 boop. All right, toggling through them here. I'm mostly happy with how they're flowing together, but this in-between seems a little bit off-center. So I'm going to hit S to go back to my select tool. I'll do my marquee selection around the entire character, and then I'm going to shift them over to the side a little bit. Okay, not perfect, but it is fun, and for today, perfection is not the goal. One thing, though, that I am going to change, I'm seeing up at the top, the comb is getting pretty close to the top border, and I'd rather not have that near tangent. So I'm going to take all of my frames and move them down. I'll select this one, and then click that down, then on to the next frame, select that, and down you go. And then finally the last frame, select, and down. Okay, final word of warning, and I'm going to do something wrong here, so just watch, don't follow along. Remember earlier when I made a new frame, I made sure to click on this X and draw within that. That created a new drawing in our current level, which is what we want. We want all of those drawings organized together. You can click on any of these cells and start drawing, but watch the level strip when I do this. If I start drawing here, it's not in the same level as the other drawings we were doing. So here are our chicken frames all together. Here, if I made a new frame not working in that X, OpenToonz automatically made a new level. Basically, if this happens, things can get messy, it's best to keep your drawings organized together. So for right now, anytime you want to make a new frame, be sure that you are drawing from one of these X's underneath an existing frame. We'll talk about more options to avoid this problem in a future video. Before we start on timing, one thing to note about the order of our drawings here. If you look closely at these thumbnails, you might note that the order in our level strip is not the same as the order in our X sheet and thus in our animation. That actually doesn't matter. The drawings showed up in the level strip in the order that we drew them, but their order in the animation is completely determined by their placement in the X sheet. If you want the order in the level strip to match the order in the X sheet, you have the option of selecting the 3 frames here, then right-clicking and saying Auto Renumber. And note that will make a little pop over here, and that in between becomes drawing number 2. Again, doesn't have any effect on your final animation, but if you want this order to match this order, that's an option. Okay, now we've got a few frames drawn and we can manually scrub through them. Next up, we'll talk about how to preview playback and how to adjust timing in the X sheet. I hope you find these videos helpful, and if so, subscribe for more tutorials and check out thundercluck.com, especially if you have any young readers or fans of animation in your life. Thanks for watching.